Microsoft releases their earnings report, and with it the numbers for Xbox and Game Pass gets revealed. Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining me. We have a few things to go over today, starting with the recent quarterly earnings report that was released by Xbox. As most people probably know by this point, Microsoft and Sony does quarterly earnings report where they go over some of the numbers when it comes to certain divisions within the company. Since gaming is a large part of both these companies, it is only natural that it also becomes a large focus point for the public. Now, Microsoft has shifted their approach a bit when it comes to Xbox, as they no longer release hard sales numbers and instead just focus on percentages. There are many speculations as to why they chose to do this, but for the most part it just comes down to the change in strategy for Xbox. In the past, Xbox used to be just console, and now it includes PC, mobile and cloud as well. By not releasing hard numbers, it shifts the conversation to the ecosystem that they are trying to build instead of just consoles, which they are trying to move away from. Now, as I have said, the quarter for Xbox has ended, and based on the numbers, their hardware has grown by 16%. And again, just to note, this is from the last quarter, which means 3 months. Overall, with the numbers that was released, there are a few good things, but there are also a few concerning trends that I have picked up. As per VentureBeat, hardware remains the driving force for Microsoft's gaming division. The company reported 2022's first quarter earnings today, revealing a revenue increase of 16% over the same period from the previous year. Xbox content and services like Game Pass grew 2% year over year, and that contributed to the overall growth of the gaming segment. Hardware sales, however, drove the majority of the increase. Xbox hardware revenue grew 166%, driven by continued demand for the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S on a low prior year comparable. Xbox content and service revenue grew 2%, with growth in Xbox Game Pass subscriptions and first-party titles partially offset by declines from third-party titles. Now again, just a few things to take note of here. When they say year over year, they do not mean how much it grew from last year to this year, because that will be 12 months and this is a quarterly report. They take the first quarter of the last financial year and they compare it to the first quarter of this financial year, and a financial year will start in July. Now, based on the numbers, you have probably noticed two important things. First of all, the hardware sales is up by a lot and the Game Pass numbers not so much. Now, when it comes to the hardware number increase, I think that is very simple to understand. Last year this time we were very deep into COVID, and believe it or not, supply was even worse than it was now. The only way you could get a console was through a scalper for 3 times the price. 12 months later, into the first quarter of 2021-2022, and things are starting to look a little bit better, although we are still struggling to get our hands on supply. But that is the overall reason for the large increase. Now, when it comes to the growth of Xbox, well, again, I think it is very simple if you look at the numbers. Game Pass experienced a massive spike in numbers last year when everything was locked down. Their numbers increased tenfold, and it is only natural that things will start to dwindle down a bit now that things are starting to open up again. Now, the second point to consider is that percentages decrease as numbers increase. As I have stated in my video last week, when Xbox was at 1 million subscribers, subscribers, increasing their numbers to 2 million is a 100% growth, even though they just added 1 million new members. Going from 20 million to 50 million is a 53% growth, even though they added 10 million. It is only natural that percentages will go down as the numbers go up. The hope on the horizon right now is Forza, pun intended, and Halo Infinite. These titles should drive up subscriptions quite a bit. Xbox will also be banking on those numbers to go up by a lot to ensure that the service remains sustainable for a long time to come. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing. And as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.